Welcome to Keep Betting. We're going to discuss the Thursday, February 2nd college basketball slate. We've had pretty good luck with the show so far. Hope you're enjoying. If you have, be sure to leave a like button. It helps grow this channel. We're getting like 100 views in the last few videos. So without further ado, let's hop straight in. First game we're going to dive into is the UAB Florida Atlantic game. Pretty big game overall. It's a pretty major for the Conference USA tournament. If you don't know, I am a UAB guy. It's my alma mater, and I enjoy UAB basketball. So I know a little bit more than most people. UAB has been without Jelly Walker for quite some time now. I am getting told by one of the team managers that he will be back tonight. He might be coming off the bench, but he will be back in some capacity. So take that for what it is. I have them winning by 3. The market is 1, so not a big deal, but I do like, I'll be at the game, so got to bet it and figured I would share on here. I will be betting the team total at 146. It should be like 73.5, I believe, 74. And as you can see, UAB in most cases, when Jelly is on the floor, wants to play one of the fastest tempos in the nation, and they're getting 90, 80, 87, 110, 80. Like we see this time and time again. They played Florida Atlantic to an 86-point game earlier this year. So I like the UAB team total. If anything, that is just because I will be at the game. I don't see a ton of value on it. So take that with a grain of salt. Just figured I would share the Jelly news and my side on the game to start off the slate. Next, we have Michigan as a 145 dog against Northwestern on the road. This will be my underdog bet for the show or for the Twitter channel. If you don't follow me on Twitter at Keep Betting News, you can get this screen here, this spreadsheet that I use every day. It is posted on the Twitter, so be sure to follow that. We've hit both of the dogs, I believe, on the 2 shows we've had. We had a Chicago State and then Army last night, so always interesting. This one will be Michigan. The reasoning, I just don't think that Northwestern is as good of a basketball team as we've seen. They struggled versus Iowa, scoring 70. This is a defensive-oriented team who's already lost to Michigan. They lost by, 8, 7. And so maybe I'm a hater, but I really don't buy this Northwestern team by any means. Michigan, on the other hand, has struggled, but they have had a lot of issues. Jet Howard, I think, can step up a ton. He missed a game. Just really hasn't been himself. He had 0 here, and then you can see in the Penn State game he had 21. So I think that he is a really big piece of this offense, and it doesn't need to be slept on by any means. Hunter Dickinson, he's similar to like a Castleton, where I just don't buy into his fate too much. I'm not too strong on him. He is significantly better than Castleton, but this Michigan team overall I'm not in love with, but I do think they're good enough to not be a 145 dog at Northwestern. So that'll be the shot that we take. I have Michigan winning this barely by 0.3. So Michigan on the 145 money line there. From 2 big games over to the Middle Tennessee game, where Middle Tennessee plays Texas El Paso. I like the over here at 129. I have 134.4. This is an issue with modeling, and I get stuck in this dilemma a lot, but I do believe in my numbers here is that UTEP is rated 40th in the nation in defense, and I just don't think they're the 40th best team in the nation by any means defensively. I think that most metrics would agree with that. They've just played slow teams, so the numbers are going to look good. They 94 points versus North Texas, and when I discuss like an issue of mine is I took the over here because if you have a notion or a theory that this team just isn't as good as the market's going to give, then you're always going to lean towards the over. And I agree here. Once again, 230th in tempo. Middle Tennessee should be like in the 190s. 196 in tempo. So you're talking 2 teams that the pace is going to be in the 66, 68 range. I think that 128, 129, it's pretty soft. I believe we hit a 127.5 last night here, or 128, but either way, anything under 130, I do like this over a good bit. So that is a bet I've already taken, and we will lock that in for the show. Then finally, the game I'm probably off the most on, Eastern Kentucky versus Jacksonville State. I believe Jacksonville State is an 8-point underdog. Jacksonville State, 7.5-point underdog, 255. I have them losing by 1 point, so 6 points difference here. Jacksonville State also close to Birmingham, so I'm pretty familiar with this Jacksonville State team. I actually really do not like this team overall. I just don't think they're a good basketball team. We've kind of seen it overall throughout the course of the year, but they have cleaned up versus Lipscomb and an okay Austin Peay team who rated 312th, just kind of surprises me. The issue is Jacksonville State plays a lot of ISO basketball, and they're not a basketball team. They do have some decent players though. On the other hand, Eastern Kentucky 14-9, high tempo, high pace. You know what you're going to get with Eastern Kentucky. They've done it forever. The issue is I just don't think that they're a great basketball team overall. I don't think that they're 14-9. In most cases, they crushed Florida Gulf Coast, who I actually really like this Florida Gulf Coast team. beat a really good Liberty team. So I understand the notion of this being a good basketball team, but they also lost to Liberty by 12, Bellarmine, which they did come back and beat. But I think we've seen discrepancies in this talent, and this number was 8 this morning. So 7.5, I would probably lay. 8, I felt really good about. It's falling down to market, 6.5 now. So I'd like to see that with my numbers. An interesting one to note overall. But that's all we got. Let's dive into just like a quick shot of, there's so many games. So a quick shot, we lean towards this USC over. I believe it's 133. Arizona, an interesting one. They got smacked down versus Oregon earlier this year, so this will be an interesting matchup. The BYU game I don't have much opinion on. Houston, always a fun game. I think that this is right at market, but with these two teams, you never really know. Wichita State's going to press. Houston's fine with the press, so they'll probably want to speed this up a little bit. Charleston, always a fast team, et cetera, it goes on. I really like this St. Thomas team. This line's moved up from market 2. It opened 1 and now it's at 3, so not too much there. Overall, a pretty big slate, and if in the future, if you want games discussed on the channel, I would love to talk about more basketball games than what I highlight. Be sure to leave them in the comments and I will get to them. One more game that we can discuss and then we will hit the road. The Merrimack LIU, so the Long Island versus Merrimack game. Merrimack's a team I've been betting overs recently, and for good reason. I think that we saw a team who was very slow to start the year, couldn't hit shots. Minor was basically their only offense. Minor got hurt. They looked really slow. They were awful. And if you watch their recent games in conference, they're playing much better. They're shooting well. They really don't look to slow the ball down any. LIU is like 10th in the nation in pace, so I think we're buying a Merrimack team the market just doesn't know anything about overall. But I took the over here at like 128. It's up to 130 now, so it's basically priced in. But interesting one if you see a live line in like the low 120s early for some reason. I do like that game. So yeah, that's all we got. I appreciate your time. If you enjoy this kind of content, leave a thumbs up. I'll be making these every day until the end of March Madness. I hope you enjoy. Peace out.